Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Butterfly Analogy. On today's episode, I have a fellow rocker. His name is Taz Defiant. Welcome, Taz, onto the podcast.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you for joining me today and driving so far out here. You drove an hour for this. I so appreciate it.
I don't understand why people think an hour is far.
I mean, I don't know.
I don't. When you drive from New York to California, an hour is like 10 minutes.
You're right. You actually went out there, right?
Yeah.
Were you visiting friends or?
I went out for a girl.
Ooh, okay.
It was a wonderful summer, but I'll leave it at that.
Okay, all right. I like that you brought that up. Maybe we'll touch upon it if you're comfortable with it. But before we do that, are you kind of scared of bugs?
No.
No, okay.
As long as they don't bite me, I don't care.
Okay. Before we do that, I actually wanted to pick some messages from my tea bag, little yellow bag thing I have going on here. And I'll go first because I'll show you how it's done. All you're going to do is just meditate on it, and then you're just going to ruffle through the messages, and hopefully the one that's meant for you will find you. So I'll go first. Love is an experience of infinity.
Damn it, why couldn't I have gotten that one? I just wrote a song about that this morning.
Did you really?
Yes.
Okay, can you touch upon it a little more?
Yeah, hold on.
Okay.
I wrote, people call it copying, but they don't seem to understand that when you write literary works. It's called alluding to another author.
Got it.
And one of my favorite bands Dream Theater has referenced love being the dance of eternity. And I've kind of touched upon that. I wrote, let me see. We're dancing on thin ice, making two circles that meet in the middle. We dance and roll the dice, tossing our cards in for the dance of eternity.
Wow, that's beautiful. That's so beautiful. What does it mean to you exactly? Why did you write that?
Well, I mean, I have the whole song here, but yeah, I wrote it. I'm not sure. I had just answered your text, I think, before coming in, and then the words just started flowing. I had to write it. Beautiful. I've always said love is like a dance.
Ooh, I like that.
When you're going after someone, it's like a dance. Whether you're bouncing back and forth with contact, or you're like, oh no, there's give and take. There's throwing your cards up in the air. There's the eye contact. There's everything. Love can be construed as a dance in itself.
Wow, that's actually a very interesting perspective, and I don't think anybody has ever touched upon that before. I actually really like that. Love is a dance, and I personally love dancing, and sometimes I'll go clubbing, and and I always told my friends that you have to speak someone's dancing language. You can't just dance with anyone. If they don't know how to kind of match your energy in a sense, you guys aren't not that you aren't compatible, but it gets a little hard to go with the music, you know what I mean? Go with the flow.
I understand more than anybody else. Yeah. I'm bipolar manic, and my energy is woo! I'm all over the place doing a million things, and when I talk with people, I'm usually terrible with small talk.
Yeah.
So it's like let's go. We talk. I go fast. I move fast, and at the end of the day, I either need somebody who can move fast but doesn't talk fast, or both. It's very complicated with me.
Of course. Do you think that's why maybe you've struggled with relationships? I know you kind of mentioned that before, how you kind of struggled with love.
Yeah, I guess I just vibe different, and it's been hard for me.
Yeah, I understand. Do you want to maybe pick a message for yourself?
Let's go.
Let's see.
Oh, wow, you got a lot of cards in there.
I do. And crystals.
Be guided. Listen to the whispers of the universe.
Ooh.
Oh, okay. That's funny. Because I just finished writing a song last night called Whisper a Word.
You see, I'm telling you, the universe and its confirmations. It sends little messages for us to kind of, to let us know that we're on the right path. And I guess you are. What is your path? What does it look like?
I'm a protector of secrets.
Secrets.
I don't necessarily have secrets, but I have other people's secrets.
Oh, okay.
And
That's
most
the
of all,
Scorpio moon, by the way. Let me tell you something. That's the Scorpio moon. He's a Scorpio moon. So we kind of like talked about it before recording, but continue. I'm sorry.
and most of all, I'm an entertainer. There are many things I want to move forward with.
Yes.
Music is just one step, and that's music has been part of my life for so long, but it isn't all I want to do.
What else is there that you want to do?
Well, I've had ideas for TV shows, and I also have an idea for a novel that I've actually been writing. And the novel was coming along it's coming along swimmingly.
That's awesome. Do you want to maybe get into it a little, or did you
Yeah.
want to keep it a secret?
Nah, I can say a little bit.
Okay.
It's like action adventure about like a government conspiracy, an international one. And I have planned for like a series, and it's going to be like a passing the torch from one book to the next.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, it keeps people like engaged and wants them to keep on picking up the book, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm working on it. I call it 10 years till the end.
10 years till the end. What significance does the title have behind the book? Like why title it that way?
10 years until that government makes their big move.
Gotcha.
And their big move for the future of humanity. It's not a good move either. But what I will say is,
Yeah.
I don't consider myself an evil person, but I've always related more to the villain than the hero. But that's actually like, I'm writing the book. The main characters have a more simple approach as to what they're doing action wise.
Yeah.
But my plan is to write more towards the villain. The villain's he's gonna know everything in advance, and it's all gonna. They're gonna think they're going ahead, but the villain, it's all part of his plan.
Oh, wow. I like that. Do you think you relate more to the villains because, in a sense, they're misunderstood?
They're what? Sinister?
Misunderstood.
Well,
I say this.
I really
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know why I relate to them. What I will say is I like it when you can see a character have honor, whether they're good or evil. If they have honor and a code, that's something I like.
Okay, so like a value system, I guess.
Yes, exactly.
Gotcha.
Being honest to who you are. That comes back to me as a person.
Yeah.
I don't lie to people, and I'm honest. I
Okay.
am who I am. I'm not changing that.
I like that.
I grow. I don't change.
That's actually really nice that you talk about because I tend to be on the people-pleasing side. So I'll change myself for someone because I don't necessarily have my own value system just yet. I go to therapy actually, and we're working on that, making sure that I learn how to stay true to my own values and how to stay true to myself. Was that something that always came easy to you, or?
Well, when I was in high school, I didn't really have a lot of friends. I was bullied. And I didn't have a value system, but I knew I wasn't going to adopt theirs.
Yeah.
And I guess over time it just grew into a value system, and that brings up another thing. The value system, most of all, is, I think I learned the most from my mother's passing, actually. That
Wow.
I look back on her life and her choices, and I don't believe in mistakes. I believe in choices.
Gotcha.
And I look at her choices and I think, what would I do in that situation that would benefit me?
Yeah.
And I just developed who I am.
It must have been a really hard time for you to kind of lose her.
Well, when you live with somebody for 25 years of your life and you get a call one Wednesday morning and she says, I know I'm not supposed to be working, but I thought I was working this morning. She was talking in a huge panic and said, I don't even know where I am. Can you pick me up? And this is the most brilliant woman I'd ever met in my life. Her intelligence was so far beyond anybody, and I'd spoken to a lot of people. And then that scared me. She went in the hospital. They said, you have a tumor.
Wow.
And she died 5 weeks later. That was...
I understand.
California was after that.
So would you say California was a stepping stone towards something more positive after a dark period like that, or?
No, it just added to the darkness that led to my crash, and that's not something I like to talk about. My crash was a really, really rough time of my life, and I just try to move forward.
I understand.
It fed towards it, and I learned a lot, and after everything the two of us went through,
Yeah.
I realized that any negative things that she kind of did, it wasn't really on her, and I forgave her for it. Anything that she could have done that was negative was not the intention. It was just the way it was.
Exactly. You're right, because that's something I'm talking through in therapy about, where we're trying to understand where my trauma kind of lies, and a lot of it has to do with like my upbringing. But, really accepting and acknowledging the fact that there's nothing like wrong with you, and it's more so the way they were raised and the way they were taught. It gives you kind of closure and acceptance, and it allows you to forgive. And I'm glad that you got to forgive her.
Will admit I'm still. I'm don't know if I've forgiven myself for all of that yet, but that's life.
It is.
I move forward, and I'll keep growing, and a day will come that I can forgive myself for everything I did.
Of course.
But I'll never forget the ride. Let me just describe that. That was fun.
Yeah.
It was Midwest. There was nothing there. Then I made it to Iowa. Oh my God! I actually make jokes with my friends, my metal friends. I make jokes about nothing good comes from Iowa.
How come?
And then they go, what about Slipknot? I'm like, I keep my stance.
Slipknot is a band, I'm guessing?
Yeah, one of the bigger metal bands. I don't dislike them, but it's fun. It's fun.
I understand. I'm not a big metal person, but I'm down to listen to it. How'd you get introduced to the metal world?
Let's see. Well, I started on punk, actually.
Ooh, okay.
I was punk rock all the way through high school. I was a punk rocker. I acted like a punk rocker, and I carried myself like a punk rocker. Not the one people want to be around.
Yeah.
But I was a punk rocker. And I liked a few metal bands at that time, but I as a guitarist, my style grew, and I started getting to be a better player, and I thought, I just want to play a little faster. I don't play fast all the time, but metal gave me those opportunities, and I appreciate that a good metal band will be able to incorporate other genres. They can incorporate folk, they can incorporate pop. Metal is one genre that if they want to throw in disco, they can throw in country, they can throw in anything. And if it's a good band, they can pull it off.
It's amazing,
It's like with punk, you get there's some really good punk groups out there, there's some really good ideas, but you incorporate one of those things into your music, it's
like the best of both worlds.
Yeah, in metal it's a little more accepting.
So how does it feel to be on stage? I love being on stage.
Oh man.
Isn't it amazing? I don't know.
There's nothing like it. When I get up there, I'm an animal. I'm sorry. There's like 20 baby ducks over there.
That is so cute. We have an audience.
Yes, we have an audience.
Oh, our audience is leaving. They were like, yeah, I don't want to listen to this shit anymore.
Yeah, but the stage is like the world. It makes me feel like I'm on top of the world, and I plug in my wireless unit, and I'm gonna run out to the crowd. I'm gonna do whatever I want. Nobody can stop me.
When was your first time on stage?
Let's see. That was maybe 5 years ago. It was an old band called Invade the Sun. I remember that group. I remember everybody in it. There was such camaraderie that I just haven't seen since then. And we did one show, and I got kicked out. But
Oh man,
yeah, I don't want to get into that.
it's okay.
It's just difference of creative opinion. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
But it was. I got up on stage. We started with an instrumental, so there was no singing. And that one ended up getting the most views of all the videos on there. It was apparently really good. Then we went into a really fast-paced one that's just run, 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 run to try and build energy. That was. But I started it twice the speed it should have been, and it was fast already. And I remember the drummer was slowing us down towards the chorus. He was starting to slow us down with the 30 seconds.
Oh man.
It was
you
his
were
job.
Just, like, so pumped that you just like were like going at it. Is that what it was, or?
Yeah, and it was his job to keep the tempo, so I kind of made it harder on him than I should have.
Yeah, of course. Oh my god, I actually went to a concert earlier this week from when this is recording, but it's in. Her name is Umi. She's still an underground artist. She's like slow R and B though. Do you like R and B at all?
I'll listen to anything a little bit. I bounce around a bit. I have my heart and my soul, but I listen to a lot of different stuff.
Yeah, so I went to her concert and she was just killing it up there. Her charisma was crazy. She knew like how to move a crowd, and I just like you get a high from like being surrounded by like energizing people.
Well,
And I hope that one day like
well, if it's a concert, that's not the only thing. There's gonna be probably gonna be so much weed in the air. You're gonna get high anyway.
that's true too. I don't think there was weed though. I mean, we did take like a couple of hits from a pen, but that's besides the point. No, but it was amazing. She was amazing. I love live music. How do you feel about live music? I'm pretty sure, obviously. I mean,
About what?
how do you feel about live music?
Oh, wait, I didn't hear you. Life.
How do you feel about live music?
Oh, man. Well, depends. If we're talking local, I'll be honest with you. I don't mean to bash anybody, but I like the local artists. I don't feel as much camaraderie with some of them. I don't know. You gotta have charisma. I have seen some local acts where the singer gets up there and he's shrimping on the floor and dancing. And there's some really good ones, there's some okay ones, but at the end of the day, it's your style. And those who get up there, they have a lot of guts to do that. And you have to keep going. You make a mistake, you keep going.
Yeah.
You finish the song. It's but when it comes to like bigger venues, oh man, it's so hard to pick. I want to say AFI because they're my favorite band, but and then I look at Goldfinger, another one of my favorite bands. They were good because the singer for one of the classic songs, he brought half of the standing floor on the stage to stand there and sing with them.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh, I love that though. It gives it like a personal touch where people actually interact with like the person on stage, which is cool.
Yeah, it was. They did other things at that concert that I'm not going to discuss here because it was hysterical.
Oh,
if you want to know what Goldfinger used to do live, you can look them up.
Okay. I'll link their like thing in the description. But I think that's the weirdest thing I've seen done on the stage. Honestly, I can't think of anything on the top of my head, but I mean, the name kind of like alludes to it.
Goldfinger?
Yeah.
It's a James Bond movie.
Goldfinger?
Yeah, that's why he named it the band that is after the James Bond movie.
Never seen it.
I think it's like one of the 70s ones. It's an older one.
So we still have to pick Crystal. I think Crystal we both picked. Crystal from the bag.
Oh, pick it from the bag?
Yeah.
So I can pick a regular one that I can tell you is. Give me a second. Oh Jesus! Holy fuck! I have 2 amethyst crystals at home, and they really vibe with me. It's kind of funny. I picked this out.
So it's about peace. That's the main idea I have behind it. Do you know more about it?
Intuition. It's for the third eye, so it can open up psychic abilities. It's also known for a kind of, it can like do anything. Like when you get that third eye working, you can use it to manifest other aspects of other crystals. It's very wide range.
So we changed location because the camera actually shut off because it overheated. So, yeah.
Too hot for even me.
I know. We were sweating. Camera overheated, computer overheated, so we had to take a quick break. But now that we're back on, I know there was a story you wanted to share with me.
Well, as I mentioned,
Yeah.
I'm working on my first album. I have a bunch of songs from different times in my life on the album that I'm working on, and I was trying to come up with a name, but I wasn't pushing it. I'm still takes a lot of time to record.
Of course, yeah.
So it'll come when it comes, is what I told myself. And then on the full moon, the strawberry moon, actually, that night, I was watching a video. A fan of my favorite band made a 20-minute video based on their new album. And the band is known for like inspiring other people, so the band took it in and worked with it.
It's amazing, yeah.
It had a private release in a small theater in Los Angeles back in September, and it was released actually like on YouTube. So I was watching it, and I saw similarities actually in the film to things that happened to my mom and her sister as a kid, and this band, AFI, I should say that's the name of the band,
Yeah.
was also one of my mom's favorite bands. And I was watching it thinking, I wish Mom was here to watch this. And right after I said that, there were footsteps in the house.
And no one was home.
No one was home. Going. And then I finished the video, ran into my room to cry, and I fell asleep, and she came to me in a dream.
Oh, what did she say?
She said, there was an incident when I was 12 that caused a lot of trauma. I will not be getting into that. What I will say is, it was the only time in my entire life that my mom didn't stand up for me. She was going to, but I think she didn't want to face the gravity of what had happened to me, and so she couldn't face it herself.
Of course.
And in the dream, I had been kind of stressing over that a few weeks before this incident. And in the dream, my mom said to me, she said, I'm sorry. I should have stood up for you then, and that I am sorry. That is my last regret. Those were her final words, and she gave me a hug and said, if you ever need me in an emergency, know that I'll always be there. And she crossed over into the light.
Wow. That's beautiful.
But when damn, I forgot. When we were doing the footsteps,
Yeah.
she said, I heard words in my head, not my burden.
Not my burden.
And this actually could relate to you.
Yeah.
It's knowing where your suffering ends and others begins. Knowing your boundaries. That is not my burden. That is not my burden. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's just learning to accept what is healthy anxiety and what isn't.
That is true. That is true. Growing up, my mom was diagnosed with depression. So my whole life revolved around trying to make her happy as best as I could, and trying to just get her out of her slump, you know. So I, in a sense, kind of adopted this persona where all I knew was how to make people laugh, or all I knew was how to make people smile. And now, I struggle with it because in relationships, or, platonic relationships as well, I go in there with the first thought of my head being like, how can I make this person smile, or how can I make them happy, even if I'm not necessarily in the right state of mind. But I do struggle with it because, I got into therapy yesterday, keep bringing up, but she was saying how it's not my job to make others happy. And when she said that, it was very liberating because that's something I always struggled with. So I really thank you for sharing that with me because it does resonate.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
My mom, actually, I think she suffered from depression as well. She never wouldn't go to anybody to diagnose it. I think she didn't want to accept it herself. So she had depression.
It is hard, especially when you don't want to get the help, because sometimes we want to help people, but they don't necessarily want to be helped. And
You can only help people so much as they want help. If somebody doesn't want your help, then trying to help them is, quite frankly, and this is me being honest, a waste of time.
Of course, it is.
It's a waste of time.
It is.
I'm done trying to help certain people. Some people in my life would get fired. They got fired from their job, and I started to say, like, I try to help them the best I can, but they don't want help. So at the end of the day, I'm not going to offer help if you're not going to take it.
Exactly. Knowing where boundaries lie. I'm going to get that tattooed on my forehead.
Oh, face tattoo. That's pretty.
Face tattoo.
That's pretty gutsy.
I do want to get a tattoo though. I've been itching to get one. I kind of want to get like a dragon on the back of my neck or like near my ear, but I'm so not good with pain.
Yeah, the ears. I think the neck is. I wouldn't know, but I think that would be a tough one.
I know. That's what I don't know. I went to the tattoo shop yesterday, and she kind of said that it didn't hurt. But then again, knowing myself, I don't know.
I don't know. I actually thought about getting some. There's a logo from AFI that looks like autumn leaves blowing in the wind, and that's, to me, represents change. I was thinking about getting that. I just don't have a good spot on my body.
Would you get like an arm tattoo? What do you think?
I got a little thing right here, and it makes it so it's hard to get a good.
Oh yeah, I have the same thing actually.
And
look at us.
Yeah.
Mine is starting to go away though. You could kind of see it towards the back or like on my legs.
I don't even. Oh yeah, I don't even know. I don't even know what those are.
It's I think it's keratosis pilaris. It's like an overproduction of like keratin that we have. But
wow.
If you like exfoliate and use like body oils, it could help. Just putting that out there, if you want, if you wanted to.
I don't know what body oils are. I know I use Dove.
Dove.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. So what else, Taz? What else is new in your life? What's happening?
Well, hope my first single is. I'm not going to give a release date because I don't have it, but I will say soon. It's I'm done being in the studio for it. We're doing the finishing touches.
That's awesome.
That one, I'm really excited for that. I implore you all to check out my Instagram. I will be making an announcement soon about that.
Yeah.
But that one, I don't know if even discussing that's a good idea on here. It's not that it's offensive, but it's kind of an angry song. It's not very loving.
Doesn't fit the theme.
No, not at all.
It's okay though. I mean, music is your way of expressing. So, it's not always going to be loving all the time. And there's multiple facades to what love is. So love can be dark. There's so many complexities behind it is what I'm trying to say. So
that's very true. And that brings up the point that I wanted to say here was I think it's 9. The ancient Greeks have 9 different words for love. They have so many different loves. They have love for like a sibling, passionate love, quick love. You have love that's been like a husband and wife that's developed over like a long time. There's that kind of love. There's love for your friends. There's love for your country. There's so many different kinds of love. I don't have all the names, but you can definitely look that up.
Of course. You actually brought that to my attention. I did not know there was 9 names for love. You learn something new every day. You really do.
Yeah, it was. I thought I can only find 8 online, but my brother pointed out 1. So thanks, James.
Shout out to you.
Now I got 9.
Have you ever been to Greece before? Have you ever been out of the country before?
I went to Canada actually. Ooh. I went to Montreal with my best friend Nathan for like 3 days. We didn't do much, but it was a blast. Let me tell you, people look so different in different countries. I would see people walking by. I saw a woman who she may have been 50. Was my rough estimate, but she looked like she was 30.
It's crazy.
And people look so different in different countries. It's weird.
It is. When I go to El Salvador, because my parents are from El Salvador, they seem much happier. And they have like the bare minimum, which is crazy to me. They're also very healthier, which is also amazing because they're always like, they're very laborious workers. They work in the sun, they work the land, so they're always active and fit. They walk hundreds of miles to get places because, transportation out there, you're like blessed if you have it. It's crazy. And it definitely like widens your perspective on like being grateful for what you do have. That's how I feel, at least.
It does.
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly, I think some of the poor people are happier than the rich ones.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I think happiness is a state of mind.
Yes.
There are items in our life, my guitar, maybe your laptop. There are things that will help us be happier, but they alone do not make us happy. The only ones who can make us happy, who can make us love ourselves, is us, ourselves.
That's so true.
If you get, and this is something I've seen, is if you get into a relationship because you want somebody to love you, that's not what you should be doing. You should already love yourself to begin with. You should go in it knowing that
it's just going to add to that love.
yes, it's just going to add to what you already have.
It's true. That is so true because, when I get into relationships with people, it's because I want to feel loved. It's me trying to fill a void that's there to begin with instead of really inviting that person to love me because I love me. And that's where the value system comes in. I don't have one, so there is no self-love. And when there is no self-love, you people please so that the other person will finally love you. And that's not healthy.
This sounds like a therapy thing, and I suppose it might be. Try writing a note. Try writing notes, like rules of Alex's life.
Oh my God, yes.
Life rules.
Yes.
And you add to them as you go, and you just make sure you remember all your life rules. Don't make 100, because then you have to memorize 100 rules. Make like 3 or 4 that truly
embodies who I am.
Yes.
You're right. I gotta do that. I gotta journal. Journaling is important. Do you journal?
I do, actually.
Music writing is journaling too, in a sense.
Yeah, I do more of a dream journal. With all these great dreams I have, I write them down. Like that one I read for you, those sets of lyrics.
Oh yeah.
I actually haven't written about the dream that inspired that. I'm gonna have to write that down tonight, actually.
Did you have that dream last night?
Yeah.
Okay, I see. How are you good? Are you good with remembering your dreams? Because sometimes I'm not.
Well, if the dream makes sense, I'm going to remember every last bit of it.
Got it.
It has a. It's because I really have happy dreams. But every now and then I'll have a dream that makes no sense. I'll look in a big old library and I'll pick up a book, and when I look at it, there's a window. I reach my hand through the window, and I'm flying through the sky, and then I hit a cloud, and I slam my butt on the floor of a cafeteria. It makes no sense.
Gosh.
If I ever get to have dreams, they're just like they're not even drug trips. Even a drug trip makes more sense than that.
I had a dream once that I was also in a library. I think I was with some cousins or family or something, but they were like, it felt like family. And all of a sudden, there was like a bunch of butterflies just like flying around. I think they were like white, or they might have been like multicolored. I don't remember exactly, but I know that much. And it was a crazy dream. It was weird, but in a good way though. It wasn't like scary or anything.
Does that have anything to do with the name of the podcast?
I mean, it doesn't, because I had the dream after, but there are
It was inspired by the podcast.
It was inspired by the podcast. Yes. When I did a live story like before I started the podcast, and I was talking about actually publishing the first episode, and while I was recording, a caterpillar actually like crawled up to me, which was so cool. And it was very symbolistic, like, because in that moment I was a caterpillar, and now I'm kind of like blossoming into a butterfly. Not completely, obviously. We're in a chrysalis, but
you're about to crack
cool.
open.
Yeah.
I see it. I see you.
So?
There's like the walls are getting thin.
Okay.
And the wings are getting big.
Oh, I love that. Oh my God, I love you, Taz. Oh, I love this place. How do you feel about this place?
Well, it's near Garvey's Point, actually.
Yeah.
And I have fond memories there. I remember, well, my brother used to dart all around the country, and I remember at one moment, I think it was Father's Day, actually. Me, him, and my dad, the three of us were at the beach down that way, down near the small one, the really small one.
Yeah.
We were on that beach, and it was like because James was going away to Oregon, right? Like a few days later, so it was kind of a goodbye thing, and it was fun.
So he lives out there?
No,
He just was
he
like
came
on
back.
a
He
trip.
came back for everything with my mom.
Oh, I see.
Now we're
I
just
see.
moving forward.
Got it. I understand. So this is like in a sense, very close to a very important place.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's awesome. This is a very important place to me too. It's funny because I was first introduced to this place when I was dating somebody. He brought me here, and it's probably like very corny, but I kind of made it my mission where I wanted to rebrand what this place meant to me, and I did. And yeah, now it's this.
It's hard to go back to a place that was with somebody that you were.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love California. I want to go back, but I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure my soul can handle it yet.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to go back for Yuletide in December.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find out about any Yuletide celebrations around there. I have a few contacts, but it takes a lot of strength to go back there.
Yeah, definitely.
It's heavy.
Oh yeah.
That's why I'm hoping to do it with a bunch of people. Yeah.
Did you guys not end in a good place?
I have no idea. It was a fun summer. I ran out of options. I felt like I had to go home.
Mm-hmm.
I could have stayed, but my soul told me to go home. And I listened. And that was probably the last time I listened for about 6 months. I got home and I don't remember anything that happened over those 6 months.
Man.
I don't. It wasn't good. I know I had the crash around then too. And it was like.
Yeah.
But I remember. What I will say is I went in the hospital to get off my old medications and get on some new ones, and that experience was unique. I actually had my first spiritual experience out there. My first experience as a pagan.
Wow.
That was out there. That was in that hospital, and it was weird. Everybody, I told them what happened.
Yeah.
And everybody inside was like, "Holy crap!" I won't get into that.
Okay.
But I will say that actually, I don't have my guitar for the video. It's in
okay.
the car.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to carry 3 miles down here.
It's all right.
But the guitar, it's an old 80s guitar. It's vintage. I didn't have a name for it. I bought it, or I traded one of my guitars for it around the time a little before the crash. And the night before we went in the hospital, I didn't name the guitar yet. All my guitars get names. So it was the night before I was going into the hospital. I knew it was coming. I knew it. This girl named Sabrina, who I'd known for a while, we were talking, and she was giving me a lot of courage because she dealt with similar stuff.
Yeah.
And she gave me a lot of courage, and it gave me hope that when I got out, things would get better. And then I got out, and a friend of mine, of my brother's actually, introduced me to a group of people that was like a branch off of how we met.
Mm-hmm.
And I just met the right people, and I got the support, and I grew.
That's beautiful.
And then I became the butterfly. My wings aren't. I'm out of the cocoon, but my wings aren't fully grown yet.
That's okay. That's okay.
They're almost there, and then they have to get their colors.
Oh my gosh, yes. They're still a little wet. But they'll dry off. Oh, we got some squirrel action happening in the back.
Actually, that brings up another point of love. Is not squirrels. Screw squirrels. You run over them with the car. They sit there waiting for you to run them over. They're asking for it. All right, you're gonna have to cut.
There was like 2 squirrels fighting over there when I first got here. They were like going at it with each other.
Please cut that out.
Yeah,
No, I'm serious.
No, I will. Don't worry.
Well, actually, the squirrels running by reminds me of something that happened a few weeks ago. I was walking through Chandler Estate. It's out in Mount Sinai. It was a
Okay.
path in the woods, and I see a baby bunny rabbit. It couldn't move. It was alive, but it couldn't move.
Yeah.
So I picked it. It wouldn't move. So I called an I called an animal refuge, and they said they would take it. They said most rabbits don't last the car ride over. They don't last a 10-minute car ride. But I tried. I picked up the bunny, brought it over, and I'm not sure if it made it. I mean, I know it made it there, but I don't know if it survived any longer. More than likely did. I didn't make the call because I didn't want to find out.
Of course, I know. You get attached to things, and like not so happy endings are not so fun to deal with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I remember bringing it over, and the moment I pulled into the refuge, it jumped. It jumped, and it hadn't been jumping before. Couldn't even move. But it still had some cuts. It had a cut on its nose, actually, a big one. But I think they've probably fixed it.
I hope so. I hope he's okay. If anybody knows about the pet bunny,
Let's name him
Butterfly.
Jack. That bunny was named Jack.
if anybody knows about Jack, please
Jack
give us an
Rabbit.
update. Jack. Yes. You actually gave us a joke off mic. Can you like repeat it again?
Jack Rabbit.
No, the other one. The
What?
one with the dad.
Oh,
took me
no.
so
Do you
long to process.
really want me to do this dad joke? I don't want to make this one public. It's too good, but okay. Whatever. All right. So a dad is looking at his three sons.
Yeah.
They're at the dinner table. The three sons are all discussing different dad jokes. The father is intrigued, so he stops them from talking and he says, if I may interject, I've only made 3 jokes in my entire life, and they're sitting here right in front of me.
You know how long it took me to process that? It took about like a couple of seconds before I actually realized why it was funny. Like, yo, I can't with myself. I can't. But Taz, I want to thank you so much for doing this with me and for coming out all this way. And I think this is actually a great place to end things, if that's okay with you.
Yep.
All right. Is there any socials you want to share with us before we go?
My social media?
Yeah.
I have my, I think my TikTok is Taz Defiant. Just no spaces, I think. Or Taz
Okay.
Defiant Official.
Yeah.
I know my Instagram is Taz Defiant Official. No spaces. And follow me on Instagram. My music will be out shortly.
Yeah.
And I want to send a special thank you to my business partner for always being by my side. Thank you, Ari. You can
Aw.
check her music out. She's great. Arizona Lindsay. You can check her out on Spotify.
Ooh, definitely. I'll make sure to tag everything in the description box. But until then, stay beautiful, everyone. Bye.
Bye.